first exercise you're going to do on the pull day is a lat pull down. Now you can do a pull up instead, but I feel more activation in my back and lower lats when I do a seated pull down. Make sure to keep your feet and legs locked into the pad. If you do find that your legs don't snug up to the pad properly, place a 5-pound weight underneath each foot and that should alleviate the problem. Now the biggest exercise cue for this is to keep your chest up, and as you pull down, imagine there's string attached to your elbows and I'm underneath you pulling from that string. Now, make sure not to keep yourself too upright. As you're pulling the weight down, allow yourself to naturally sway back to make sure your elbows are pointed down the entire time and not going backwards. Do not oversway, and I recommend to do at least 2 warm-up sets before you do your working set. Do a 3-second contraction, 1-second eccentric contraction, 8 to 12 repetitions if you're intermediate, 12 to 20 if you're a beginner. Our second back exercise is a chest-assisted high bar machine row. Make sure to keep the back of your heels firmly against the pad and place your sternum on the upper part of the pad, which is the bony part of your chest in between your breasts. Don't place your stomach on the pad, because when you pull the weight up on your body, you won't be able to breathe. Now the main difference in the upper grips and lower grips is that the upper grips will focus on the rhomboids, our teres major, teres minor, or middle traps. Brings the scapula together, so it's mostly working our upper middle traps. The lower handles emphasis on our lats. Now focus on bringing your shoulder blades to touch when you bring the weights to you. And again, imagine there's string attached to your elbows and I'm pulling from this string. Make sure to give your body a little bit of a sway as you come back and try and get your elbows to go behind your body to make sure that you fully engage in this exercise. Now we want to do 12 to 20 repetitions if we are a beginner, 8 to 12 repetitions if we're intermediate or advanced, and I would recommend to do 2 or 3 working sets. The third exercise for the back is our seated neutral close grip rows. For this exercise, I want you to keep your feet on the lower part of the footrest so you can use that as a counterweight. Keep a slight bend in the knees the entire time you do this exercise. Allow yourself to lean back when you do pull the handles to your body and make sure to touch your belly button for each rep. When you bring the handle back to the machine, don't lean forward too much, just enough that you feel a good stretch on your lats. If you lean too forward, you will start to emphasize the shoulders instead of the back. Keep the chest up the whole entire time. Allow your scapula to protract and retract during this exercise. Now again, intermediate and advanced, you want to do 8 to 12 repetitions. For beginners, we're looking for more 12 to 20 repetitions. And for working sets, we want to do 2 or 3 sets. Fourth exercise is the alternating dumbbell bench assisted row. Now the reason I like to place the pad in the front up on an angle is because when I used to do it with a flat bench, I didn't really feel a good stimuli and I felt like I was impeding on my shoulder joint. So as soon as I started placing the pad up, I felt a lot better activation on my lats. So this is the preferred method that I like to do. Now make sure when you come up, get your dumbbell up to your hip, making your elbow go above your back to get a full contraction. Then let your body come down and give it a little lean down to get a full stretch. Now, don't go for a real heavy weight for this exercise. Focus more on the form and contraction at the top, and again, get that hand and dumbbell up to your hip. Now we're going to be doing 12 to 20 repetitions for beginners, 8 to 12 repetitions for intermediate and advanced, and we're going to be doing 2 or 3 working sets depending on how tired you are at this point. The fifth and final exercise for the back is a bent over wide grip straight arm pullover. You can do this with a regular pull down bar, and I like to place my hands just outside of shoulder width apart. To start this movement, take a step back just slightly, Put your feet in the ground, put a slight bend in your knees, and then go to a 45-degree angle. At that point, you should be feeling a slight stretch in your lats. To make sure you're getting a full range of motion, let the bar pull you slightly at the top of the movement, then bring the bar all the way to your legs, and make sure when you are performing this move to place a slight bend in your elbows and your arms, and keep your arms in that position throughout the entire movement. Imagine you're coming out of a hole and pull yourself out of that hole. You can also, as usual, imagine there's string attached to your elbow and I'm behind you pulling from that string. Keep your spine in a neutral position the whole time and don't be curving it in. If you need to lean up a little when the bar is moving towards your legs, then go ahead and lift up to make sure the cable doesn't hit your face. But as you bring the bar back to the starting position, make sure to place your spine back into the starting 45-degree angle position and then complete the next repetition. Now we're moving on to the bicep portion of our pull day. The first exercise I want you to do is a machine bicep curl. I recommend using the machines because after doing 5 back exercises, you will be tired, and the machine allows you to keep your arms in a locked position and to isolate the bicep muscles. Now you want to place the seat high enough so that your armpits are in the pad and that your triceps are sitting on the pad completely and not having your elbows lift off the pad at all. Now, at the start of this movement, you want to bring your hands to your face and imagine you're feeding yourself. Make sure to get a full contraction at the top, and if you need to lift your elbows off the pad to do that, that is fine. When you are bringing your arms down, you want to go about 90% of the way down. Not completely down, but going anything less than 90% is not getting a full stretch. Keep your feet and your legs tight in the core. We're going to be doing 15 to 20 repetitions, 2 to 3 working sets. The second and final bicep movement on our pull day is a seated dumbbell curl. Now place a slight angle to the seat instead of having it at a 90-degree angle. This will allow for you to take your shoulders out and make sure you can focus more of an isolation on your biceps. Plant your feet and keep your core tight. Now when you start this movement, the dumbbells are at full extension towards pointing the ground, and bring the dumbbells up to your mouth while keeping your chest up and your shoulders depressed down so they're not moving back and forth. And your elbows might move up to complete this movement, which is fine. Just make sure when you bring the weight down to fully lengthen the biceps by bringing the dumbbells back to the starting position and facing the ground. You can do these dumbbells to the side, and you can do them alternating or one at a time. You can also work the dumbbells by either lifting them close to the side of your body or having them out on a 45-degree angle, which will put more of a pull on your biceps. Again, we're going to do 2 or 3 working sets. We want to do 15 to 20 repetitions if we're beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And this is our last bicep exercise, so really burn it out and get the great pump. Our last exercise is a dumbbell shrugs. I like to use dumbbells over a traditional barbell because I get a better contraction, and I feel when the dumbbells are lowered to my side, I get a better stretch on my upper and middle traps. The best way to think about this exercise movement is to try and touch your ears with both of your shoulders. So you want to bring your shoulders up and back, and then let the dumbbells pull the shoulders down until you feel a stretch in your traps. Keep your head tilted up a little so that way you are not cheating on these reps, and make sure to get your shoulders as high as possible. The job of your upper traps is scapular movement up and tilted back. So unless your shoulders are completely going up and down, you are not fully engaging the traps. As you do this exercise, you should feel your neck getting a little sore. That is because your trapezius muscle goes all the way to where your neck and your head do connect. So for this exercise, I like to do 3 working sets and to do at least 2 or 3 drops per set. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and share, and please subscribe, and have a great day.